set, go. Three guys, one mic, a lot of heavy. Oh yeah.
Hi, this is Ben Eastman,
I'm Jeff Crenshaw.
And I'm Alan Burrell.
Thank Christ!
and this is
Heavy.
Thank Christ. Oh,
Let's
go! I screwed that one up. My bad.
No,
I thought we were on a
that's
new
good.
podcast called Thank Christ.
Oh,
That would be.
someone get Eastman a dunce cap.
Aww. I used to wear a dunce cap in grade school.
You still do, but it can't fit on your head in the car.
The worst.
He hasn't figured that out yet,
The
though.
worst part is someone told me this is a true story. Someone told me a dunce cap meant that you were a cool person when I was in grade school.
Ha!
So I made a cap and wrote dunce, and I misspelled dunce. I
Oh
put
my
D-U-N-T-S,
That's great.
and I wore it. And then the teacher was like, "Why are you wearing a dunce cap?" And I said, "'Cause I'm a cool dude," or something. I don't know what I said. And then she took it off and put me in a timeout. She put me in a timeout!
Oh, is this
for
story
wearing
true?
Yes, 100%. Fourth grade, Mrs. Plant. I remember it.
Mrs. Plant.
Yeah, Mrs. Plant was her name.
She related to Robert Plant?
No, she was not.
There's probably lots of plants in the world.
That was also coincidentally the first time I'd ever felt an earthquake, and that was in school. Miss Plant was not present. Her substitute was there.
Someone help! My dunce cap's gonna fall off.
All right.
And now you feel them every day.
Yeah, well,
I saw something interesting.
when Jeff walks into the room.
I saw something interesting.
Oh, look, it's Shia LaBeouf.
No, it's just him getting arrested. What were you saying, Jeff?
Your stomach's showing.
Is it? Oh, damn it.
I wasn't bothered by it.
Why did you have to say that on the podcast?
That's
Like, they need to know that my washboard abs.
I love when I'm on set and we do takes where like it was really okay, Al, it was really good, but your crack was showing, and we don't want to embarrass you. So let's do it again. Let's do it again, and then we do it again. Okay, still seeing crack. All right, if we could just let's tuck the shirt in. We could do it again. Let's do it again.
All right, Alan, that's too much crack. What?
Not enough crack, Alan.
We shouldn't be doing crack.
Jerry Bell Jr. posted a video. It was like a montage of the
Indie film awards, yeah.
And I swear to God, I saw you walking on stage with a trophy.
You did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was me.
So,
you win?
What's the story?
No.
What's the story about that?
The story of that is
You're the presenter?
Is in fact Jason Rosenblatt won for best screenplay for Vicious,
Oh, wow.
and he had contacted me beforehand and asked me if I would receive it because he wasn't going to be there.
Oh, wow.
So-
Myra's in Vicious.
Is she?
Yeah.
I saw Vicious. I'm trying to place her. But
She played Bill's mom.
The second time she's played Belle's mom.
interesting.
She loves getting cast as literally the character of Belle's mom. She's done it twice.
I've actually written a character for her named Bill's mom.
Yeah.
Just because of that.
So you can get her in 3 times. Might as well. Might as well. Sometimes you just run with it.
I honestly hope this persists for the rest of her career. That every year or so she has one character named Bill's mom. But you accepted a trophy for Rosenblatt.
Yeah.
And that was it? Did you give an acceptance speech?
Actually, yeah, the speech went over well. So the Willamette Week was in the back.
Yeah.
And they come as the winners left, they brought him upstairs to interview him. And so the guy from Willamette Week, I walked down after giving the speech, and then he's like, "Hey, come upstairs." And I'm like, "No, I didn't win. Just getting it for a friend." And he's like, "Yeah, it doesn't matter. Come upstairs." And then the interview was just terrible. I was like a 10-year-old kid, waving the trophy. I'm terrible in interviews. It was hilarious.
But were they
But then Jason showed up, and we did kind of a double interview.
Were they a weird interviewer? Were they kind
No,
of
he
quirky?
was. He was. I
Because
mean,
Willamette Weekly's kind of a quirky.
He's a quirky guy.
Okay,
But
yeah.
he seemed like a nice dude.
They didn't do it in a weird format or anything like that. Ask you any weird ass questions or something.
I don't remember. I might have been just too inside my head. It's like in interviews, I'm like
Too self-conscious.
I'm like Will Ferrell from from the race car movie. What is that?
Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights, where
Oh,
he's like
kind of
can't move his
awkward.
hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't know what to do with his hands. It's like how I am in interviews.
I know.
Okay, I
I'm not
probably
very
wouldn't
good at being
prefer-
interviewed either because I don't like literally right now. I don't know what I'm saying, but like I heard one of the only times I ever got interviewed that was like actually like released was when we got interviewed after we saw Conan O'Brien's first show.
Oh,
after
right.
He had left the Tonight Show. He did that tour, and the first stop was in Eugene, and we had tickets to go see it.
We're in the documentary.
We're actually in the documentary Conan O'Brien Can't Stop. You can actually see us. It's hilarious. I look so much skinnier. But
Me too.
we got interviewed by NPR after
Yeah.
the show. They interviewed, and I didn't remember what I had said until Jeff's dad like posted like, "Hey, I heard you on NPR this morning." And we were like, "What? NPR?" Like, I guess I had forgotten that NPR had interviewed. I knew someone interviewed, but I didn't know it was NPR or something.
That's funny.
And we somehow found the clip that had it, and we have it somewhere. I think I have it. I found it.
I have it on my drive, and it's at the end of the Conan O'Brien video that you made.
Oh yeah, I forgot I put it in there. And like it's like, all right, and we spoke with some of the audience members, including Ben Eastman, who gushed about the performance. And it cut to me, and you hear me, I'm like out of breath, and I'm like, yeah, well, it was like the best time of my life. Like, and it was something like, yeah, if that could have gone on for 24 hours, I would have stayed, no breaks, no anything. And that's the quote that they used on NPR, like national NPR. I'm like, yeah. Like,
Oh
just
my
like,
God.
I was like, wow, that people heard that all over the country. I was like, God dang it.
Hey, I got off pretty well. They didn't use my interview. I don't remember what I said, but although I was, Ben and I were both on the local Eugene news. Do you remember that? There was the newscaster, the news camera guy, and the interviewer. Well, she asked me, what was it like seeing Conan O'Brien? It was like, it was magnificent. It was like seeing the Lincoln Memorial.
Okay, I do remember that.
And that
Did
made
they
it into
use
the
that
news.
though?
They used
They
it.
did. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Wow,
That's why
that's so funny.
It is-
funny.
Was it like a clip that we had found? I'm kind of like vaguely remembering. If was there a clip that was the interview?
it was that was a news story online. They posted it to their website.
Wow.
But the thing is, those local news websites don't have like a huge archive. They just like after a certain amount of time they will take stuff off the site and
Yeah.
long gone sadly. But
And we thought we were going to be famous because we were interviewed by the local news.
sadly,
Perfect transition into today's topic
okay.
for the podcast,
Oh, okay.
which means it's a non-transition. But today we are gathered here. So, perfect segue into our topic for today's podcast, including myself, Jeffrey Crenshaw II, and Elena.
I'm James Harden.
Alan Edward Burrell, star of Truffle Runners.
Today's topic is the 10 worst films of all time. Or the 10 worst films in our opinions. Which means it's fact.
Also, we made this disclaimer when we did the 10 best films, but I'd like to say that this list for me could change at any moment. So this is just right now.
I want to say this is the hardest list I've ever had to make.
I didn't even write anything.
Well, hey, at least
Alan likes to come
At
prepared.
I
least
was
two of
paying
us came
tribute to what you
prepared.
said. Actually, I don't think I was even part of the discussion of this. I should have spoken and voted for a different category.
We offered you a chance to, but you said, "No, you guys pick it, and I'll go along with it and make my list." We
We
talked in
can't
the
always do
podcast.
top 10 lasagnas, Alan.
You know, I like the eggplant lasagna.
Yeah,
it's good.
Stouffer's.
Lots of
Definitely
ones.
Stouffer's
That
is the
sounds
number 2
disgusting.
for sure.
No, it's like Figaro's lasagna is really good.
Ooh.
but it's
Oh,
gotta be like-
Figaro
They have
lasagna.
Figaro's?
I thought they only have taco pizza.
What the hell's taco pizza?
What the Oh, I'm thinking
taco-
Godfathers.
taco
wow, I
pizza.
got
Yeah,
Figaro's and Godfathers mixed up.
Godfather's has great taco pizza.
Well, look at we're talking about pizza. We're talking about lasagna. Let's get back on track. Worst movies ever. So
Do we go 1 to 10 or 10 to 1?
I think we should probably do 10 to 1.
Okay.
But we will say, I will say, like this was really hard. Like I Googled the F out of movies because I couldn't really come up with a list off the top of my head. But boy, oh boy, when I Googled, I found the Holy Grail. Okay.
These are just what I could come up with
I might
at
use.
the moment.
I'm going to use my phone too.
Because I'm
Okay.
sure there's stuff that I can't remember that'll come
Alan,
to my
you
mind
just
later.
chime in whenever you
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
yeah,
there's
yeah.
a film you just have to talk about.
Okay.
So, do you want to go first, or
Sure, I'll
Okay.
go first. Number 10 worst film of all time for me. Now, this is probably the most recent film on the list to come out. Sausage Party.
what? Oh,
And-
now I feel bad I don't have that on my list. That is a piece of shit.
Sausage Party, and it's not that I was particularly excited to see, but I had heard good things about it, so I was curious to see how that played out. Man, and okay, I probably laughed twice in it, but it was so mean-spirited and like overly crass just for the reason of being crass that it comes off as just like, I don't know, it just did not work for me at all. And I'll be the first to say, I mean, I think some
That group of guys have done.
Oh yeah, there's some great movies.
movies.
I mean, I can think of one recently. This Is the End. I thought was
This
pretty
Is
damn
the End
hilarious.
is awesome.
But Sausage Party just was not cutting it for me, and I was
That douche character was the worst.
I was
fucking thing I've ever
offended.
seen.
I don't really get offended at shit at all, hardly.
Oh, yeah.
But like there was a particular scene when I watched that I was literally disgusted. I feel weird saying that because that's just not. But I don't know. That movie just did not sit well with me, and I really did not enjoy it. And that's number 10 on my list.
It's Sausage Party. Two moments I laughed at that movie. Or they weren't even things that happened. They were things that were in the movie. Characters. One, the Woody Allen bagel.
Yeah.
I'm a bagel. So making Woody Allen the
That was
quintessential
kinda funny.
Jew,
Yeah.
I thought was hilarious.
I laughed through some of it, but I feel like I went. Yeah. I was also half there too.
I
where
fucking
just.
I was fully there and just not digging it at
I
all.
fucking hated it. But the other thing that made me laugh was the chewed up piece of gum that they made they made into Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, that was pretty damn funny.
Like he looks all mangled, so because he's been chewed, and his face kind of looks like Hawking's. Fucking horrible Sausage Party movie. Should I go next?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, this one offended me. When I saw it, I was shocked and appalled and aghast when I saw it. I was watching it on the screen and I couldn't believe.
Oh, it's
The
Mystery
people-
Squad, isn't it?
Well, fuck you. You just ruined it.
Damn it!
No.
I'm sorry, world.
No. That film was The Pit. just kidding. No, but I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was the most. Well, it's not the most offensive because there's more offensive higher up. At the time, it was the most offensive movie I'd ever seen. And what made it worse is it was shown in my history class, and what made it worse is it won an Oscar, and what made it worse is it was about the Holocaust. Life is beautiful.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Basically, they take this farcical comedy film,
Yeah.
throw it into the Holocaust, and they try, which I guess I think it's risky, but if you're honest about what you're doing, go forth with caution. This film isn't honest about it because they take this farcical we're about to be exterminated movie, and they try and patch it up with this veneer of a father protecting his son from the horrors of war by being Patch Adams in the midst of the Holocaust. Patch Adams and the Holocaust are two things that don't go together. And when I was watching it, I was looking around like, am I the only one? And by the way, this might seem like a direct attack on Alan because this is one of his favorite movies. I'm sorry, I disagree with you.
Oh, shit, it is one of your favorites?
I am not offended,
I love you dearly.
but I do completely disagree with you.
Oh, I didn't know that was one of your favorite movies.
It's
Whoa.
and I'm not doing that. This isn't because it's one of his favorites. It's just one that I happened to think of because this was a hard list to write. if I could think of every bad movie I've seen, would it be on the list? Probably not, honestly. But this is one that just offended the living shit out of me. It's basically... It's a Farsi Holocaust movie, and the tone didn't match the subject matter, which was uncomfortable
It's a good
enough.
time to eat crust.
which was difficult enough for to endure. But if they had been honest about what they were doing, like, look, we're gonna throw shit at the Holocaust, we're gonna have some fun with it. No, they throw on this inspirational music and they justify the farciness of it by tying in this daddy-son relationship story.
Wow,
It
you
felt
really
like-
hate this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like a disingenuous way to make excuses for themselves for making fun of one of the worst fucking things that's ever happened in
I've only ever
History.
attempted to see it once, and I just thought it was boring. But that's been years. This was years ago, so
and
I don't really have a strong opinion either way. But
and I'll let Alan stand up for after I just did this huge verbal assault because I feel bad because I feel like when you attack films that you know one of your friends loves, it's kind of like attacking them personally, and I don't want that to be.
oh, grow a pair of balls, Jeff. It's not that big of a deal. It's just a movie.
I
But
mean,
I will say
I
this.
see what you're saying, but I also agree it's just a movie. I mean, and everybody's going to be different about it.
Yeah.
Alan, I think the only reason you really love it is because you saw Roberto Benigni step on the backs of chairs as he walked up to receive his Oscar, which is like one of the biggest Oscar moments ever. And you probably thought, wow, that's cool.
Wait,
I
he
wish
did
I could
that?
do Yeah,
I've
that was
never-
like the whole thing.
Wow.
He got up in his seat and
I
he
haven't
walked
seen
on
it
the
either.
backs of chairs.
Wow. The beginning.
I don't know how the hell someone does that, but
So, why am I wrong?
Well,
Well, why is my opinion?
I feel like you're overcomplicating it. I feel like it's a movie about something in particular. Being a hero, I guess you could say. I mean, the dad represents what that. I mean, he knows his fucking kids, going through this, and he's trying to put himself in this. It's. I'm not going to go into that, but I feel like it's not about all that. I mean, maybe you're maybe you're coming at it from a filmmaking perspective, and I'm coming at it from just a viewer who sees this beautiful relationship, this man who's willing to sacrifice his fucking emotions and his depression because he's got a kid. His kid's more important than whatever's going on. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be fucking I mean, also I think back then people lived with more of a repressed, mindset, mentality. So maybe he had, maybe people were more like war. The fact they were going to be exterminated.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't. Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrifying, but
I can actually see.
I don't know. I
can see both of your opinions. Now, I haven't really given it a watch in a long time, but now that I've seen both of your lenses, I'd like to give it a shot myself.
I do see where he's coming from, with that, and I've always kind of seen that perspective, but my own perspective, I guess it depends on how you internalize it, and it wasn't necessarily my perspective as a filmmaker. It was, I don't know, I don't know. It felt like a breach of good taste that they were trying to use this inspirational angle.
I mean, it makes me curious of how the premise was conceived, how it happened.
Yeah.
I was sitting around thinking about it. Was it, you never know. Was it a Jewish man who, had relatives in the Holocaust, and he was trying to show light on, how they could have been positive, so that it's not all. I don't know.
Interesting.
But number 10, there you go.
Yeah. What's your number 10?
I don't have a number 10.
No,
Do you
haven't
think of a
conjured
bad
up,
one?
You haven't conjured up a bad movie yet.
It's so.
Well, you know what? We'll continue going. We've got our list set,
I mean, I really.
and if you chime in with one, just let us know.
Okay, how about any bad movie? Just name one, and why do you hate any movie you hate? I'm sure you remember one.
It's so hard because I remember the movies I love. I really...
Well, yeah, bad movies can be forgettable. Sometimes they can't. But
I mean, like, I watch them all the time. I just watched one the other day.
some of the worst movies
I
ever.
mean, like, the
are
last movie I
forgettable.
watched was Train to Busan, which was fucking awesome, so I can't say...
Never heard of it.
Is that the one where
Train to Busan?
the entire
I watched
train
it.
is the world is frozen?
No, that's
Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer.
Oh,
And
okay.
I actually... My number 10, Snowpiercer.
I've heard
Thank you.
You really?
very
Yeah.
different things. I've heard people that think it's their like one of their best films and one of their worst films.
Defend your position.
Oh, man. Thank
Wow.
You're
Look
welcome.
at that. See, we knew we'd conjure up one out of you. Snowpiercer. Wow.
I feel like I just fulfilled my greatest accomplishment ever.
I don't have much to say about it. I need to watch it again, but this is my feeling when I watched it, was that there was just no... For a movie that has this chance to move very fluidly, like, through the train and show, glide from world to world, there's no flow to it for me. I was never connected to the characters. It was a bunch of cool stuff happening. I feel like the art director deserves, an Oscar, but I couldn't get on board.
So it was a writing issue. That
Wow.
you had.
That was
it
a good pun.
I think it was a...
Ah,
Couldn't get aboard.
I don't
Wow.
know.
so, was,
You know,
was it a writing issue?
I don't even think so, because there's not... I don't know. I really should watch it again, but I remember feeling that when I watched it.
I have plenty of ones like that on my list, so don't worry about that.
I think.
And if I think of more, I can come back to it, but...
I think that guy just made a movie that I just saw that was really good on Netflix.
Oh, really?
What was it? God, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's OKJA. I think it's called Okja.
Okja.
Yeah, I think that guy
wanna
made that
see
one.
that
Is that
so
the one with the
bad.
dinosaur?
Yeah, well, like
the
a
monster that...
The monster?
The town...
What is it?
Well, it's like a
It's this little Korean girl.
yeah. This little Korean girl. This like company makes these pigs. Like they're genetically modified huge pigs.
They
that
feed
look like
them and
hippos.
they grow them to be
So that they
massive,
can
so
they can
feed on
sell
them.
their meat because
Yeah.
the world has a problem with producing enough
that's
food for
bacon.
people. So, but like, and the movie is about as heavy-handed satire as you can
I
get.
wanna
Like
see
it
it
is
so
like
bad,
full
yeah,
on
yeah.
satire, but it's pretty good. I like it. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Wow.
But number 9 for me. This is a movie I haven't seen since theaters, and I will say I was 5 years old when I saw it.
Oh, wow.
So and I still remember how I didn't like it. And then
Maybe you'd like it now.
well, apparently I wasn't the only one. But I remember my dad and we were going to go to theaters to see Jingle All the Way. That's not the movie. And
Oh,
most people hate Jingle All the Way. Jeff and I happen to absolutely love it.
yeah, I love it.
Because it's turbo time, motherfucker. I'm your number one customer. But we were gonna go. So it was Dad and Ben time. I remember this like it was yesterday. And we had gone to Portland. I think my mom went to go hang out with my grandmother. My dad and I were gonna go to Portland. We were gonna see Jingle All the Way. This is what we did. It was
Yeah,
cool,
sure.
right? Jingle All the Way was not out yet. So Dad, trying to be Father of the Year, was like, oh, "Shit, we're already here. Is there another Christmas movie we can see?" And this was the movie that was out at the time, Santa with Muscles, starring Hulk Hogan. Okay,
I wish I'd seen
and I
it.
love Hulk Hogan, not as an actor, clearly, except for when he's in, was that Rocky 2 or Rocky 3? That was Rocky 2, right?
Oh, I think was that Rocky. I think that was Rocky 5, wasn't it? Or no, that was Rocky 2. I think because you mean the beginning.
Yeah, he's in the beginning.
Yeah.
He's great in that, but oh man, dude, even as a kid, I didn't even know the concept of a film being an actual like thing. You know what? Actually, maybe I have seen it since then because I'm remembering it a little bit better than I probably should.
A dumpster
But-
fire.
It was bad. It was just felt like a total made on the dirt cheap. Like literally, the only reason it got made is because they paid probably Hulk Hogan too much to be in it,
Yeah.
and it was a vehicle to try to one up the macho-ness that was, Schwarzenegger coming out with his film. Like clearly, it was trying to be like that head to head at that time. But I remember the film like looking so cheap.
I've
Just
never
being incredibly unfunny. Have you ever heard of it?
I've never heard of it.
Oh wow,
But that's the actual title.
Santa with muscles.
That's the actual title.
That's the actual title.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Jingle All the Way, it's not anywhere near award worthy or anything anywhere near what I would call a great film. But it's one that Jingle All the Way is one I love.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It like so many things in that movie. Like everything in that movie just fills me with joy. Maybe it's because I associate it with being a kid.
Dude, Phil Hartman knocks it out of the park in that movie.
Phil Hartman always knocks it out of the park. No matter, even if he's in a piece of shit. By the way, I fucking hate his wife. But even if he's in a piece
Who
of
doesn't?
shit, for all you don't know, Phil Hartman was murdered by his wife. But even when he's in a piece of shit, he can make things.
Any person that murders Phil Hartman is a piece of shit.
Yeah, I agree.
Have
But
you ever seen
the
Phil
scene-
Hartman's audition for SNL? I mean, he's
Yeah, oh, yeah.
he's kind
Oh,
of,
yeah.
kind of a piece of shit.
Phil Hartman?
I don't know if I've seen that.
He's like one of my heroes, and I still think he's kind of a piece of shit.
I would see a piece of
No, no, he's not a piece of shit at all. I love Phil Hartman, but he did. He got to the point where he was like old. Probably he was like to the point where he was like, "Fuck, I've auditioned." You know, he didn't give a shit by the time he auditioned for that. It felt like.
Ha!
You said you saw that audition, right?
The SNL?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if maybe he
I
didn't
mean,
give a
he's
shit.
so good, but he was just like, whatever.
It was effortless.
There we go.
He
Yeah,
made
yeah, it was very
easy.
effortless. Yeah.
But none of the current cast are fit to lick the bottom of his boots. Like Phil Hartman was a genius.
I agree.
Like him and Norm Macdonald.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yeah,
But-
Oh, love Norm.
Norm's great.
But
One of the best jokes I've ever heard is Norm Macdonald, and I remember telling it to you, and I don't remember it. But it had. Oh man.
I remember when I told to you.
A Norm Macdonald joke?
Yeah.
What?
But really quick on Jingle All the Way, the
Yeah.
scene with Jim Belushi and his gang of midget Santa
Oh,
Clauses, where Schwarzenegger just punches the midgets and kicks them in the face.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, I barely laugh to this day when I watch that. It's just a visceral thing, not an intellectual thing. All right, the Norm Macdonald joke. This is a long joke, maybe.
Oh no,
But-
let's hold on.
no. You already got me into this. Don't fucking cut me
Oh,
off, you
damn
asshole.
it.
It's not that long. It'll maybe be about 5 minutes. All right.
Jesus.
Wait.
No, don't.
We're
Can we
calling-
hold off till the end?
No.
We're,
Stop
We're
cutting me
call-
off, you fucking cocksucker. A frog walks into a bank. Oh, God, can we cut till the end? A frog walks into the bank. It's for a loan. And he goes up to the cashier's window, and he notes the name tag, Patty. He's like, "Hey, Patty." Now Ben remembers.
I know the joke. Yeah.
Hey, Patty.
Susan said frog.
I'm here for a loan. And she's like, "Oh, what's your name?" "Kermit." "You're Kermit the Frog?" He's like, "No, I'm not Kermit the Frog. I'm Kermit Jagger." And she has this look on her face. She doesn't know like how to process this. Like, "Kermit Jagger?" He's like, "Yeah. My father was Mick Jagger. And he fucked a frog, and I'm his offspring." And she's like, "Wow. Wow, that's amazing." He's like, "Isn't it, miss?" She's like, "Whack." Anyway, I'm here for a loan, and can you give me one? And she's like, "Well, I don't know. Do you have collateral?" And the frog's like, "Well," he reaches into his pocket and pulls out this little pink elephant. It's like made of crystal. It's holds it up to the light and it sparkles. You can practically hear the little ding of the sparkle, which never happens in real life, strangely enough, but in every movie I've ever seen. And it's sparkling. That's the point. And he's like, "Well, I got this," and he hands it to the teller, and she's looking at it. And she's, "I don't know if I can help you out with this. I'm going to have to talk to my manager." And she goes back to the back office and talks to the manager. And she's explains the situation, the conversation that she just had. And he's like, "Let me see the collateral." And she hands him the elephant, this little glass elephant. And she asks, "I don't even know what that is." The manager looks at the little object, slides the glasses down his nose. He says, "It's a knick-knack, paddywhack. Give the frog alone. His old man's a rolling stone." Well, guys, I have to say, my number 9 is probably going to draw quite a bit of controversy.
Ooh.
It is one of the shittiest fucking sequels I've ever seen. Everyone says it's the sequel this franchise deserved, but this is the worst of all of these movies. It's one of the worst blockbusters. It's one of the worst. It's bad enough that Jimmy Fallon has a cameo in it.
Oh,
Jurassic World.
shit. Well, I don't say it's controversial, because you maybe hearing that one from me fairly soon. Actually, that's my number 8, believe it or not. So,
Great
wow.
minds think alike, right?
Wow.
Basically, this is one of those cases where a movie gets almost universal audience praise. Almost every person I know is lauding it. Every friend on Facebook, everyone. They're just raving on this movie. And I hear one or two bad things, but I'm like, well, so many people like it. It can't be that bad. I watched it and I was absolutely stunned. It was one of those, never again until the 2016 presidential election was I so dumbfounded by a choice
Yeah.
so many people made. It was... Jimmy Fallon was in a cameo where, like, the kids are riding in this little glass pod. Which,
Yeah, that was a confusing part of that.
there's... they're in a glass pod so they could be safe out in dinosaur country. Where I think it's a little pod they can ride around so they can see the brontosauruses. Am I supposed to believe that this little glass sphere that the kids are riding around in would protect them from getting stomped to death by...
Well, it doesn't. Because, like, in the movie, they get stomped out of that thing.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Am I supposed to believe that these professional designers...
That's literally,
believe...
like, the least dumb thing about the movie.
Well, yeah, but am I supposed to believe that these professional designers believed that a glass ball could protect kids from a dinosaur?
Well, are you also supposed to believe that, after the tragedy that was, what happened in, I don't know, Jurassic 1... Jurassic 2, Jurassic 3, that somehow they thought it was still a good idea to open up a island full of dinosaurs and make it a theme park?
That's true. I agree with that, but that goes without saying.
That I can suspend belief.
That goes without saying at this point, because that's what people should have thought when they came out with the sequel. And then, okay, it's not a... Granted, they're not... In the first couple of sequels... I think in 2 and 3 they don't rebuild a theme park.
No, they're not.
It's like they just they're dealing with consequences from the original one.
Yeah, they just keep on going back to the island as if they think it's a good idea to still somehow. But Jurassic World is, that film just pissed me the fuck off. I actually remember I saw it by myself, but in a sold out theater on opening night.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, you know what, let's go check this out, let's see it. And I remember being like probably the only person in that audience that was completely dumb. Like everyone was like, whoa, and like laughing. And I was like, what? This is horrible. I really was just like not fun, and literally took everything that made the original Jurassic Park great and didn't do anything with it. And I get it, sequels, they're rarely are they as good as the original, and that's not what it needed to be. do we need a Jurassic Park sequel? No, but if you're gonna do it, at least make it fun. At least make it, at least an ounce as cinematic as the first one.
Make the people worth the goddamn. None of the I didn't like any of the people in Jurassic World. I was hoping they would all die. It's like, at least in the first one, there were some annoying people, and there were bad people, and there were good people, but they were all interesting, and I wanted to see them survive, except maybe Wayne Knight's character. But and even in the sequels, the movies sucked. 2 and 3, the movies sucked, but at least the people were interesting. Chris Pratt, that little cowboy suit he's wearing throughout the movie, he looks like he's a theme park character and not an actual person. He looks like he should be handing out candy.
And the thing is, like, I don't really mind Chris Pratt too much, but I hate it when he goes into, like, him and Ryan Reynolds have this thing for me, like, they're good looking guys and they actually can act. They've had some pretty good performances, but they're like, I don't like when they do like the, hey, look at me, I'm Chris Pratt, this is me doing the Chris Pratt jokey thing that I do. It's a little too, like, self-aware. That's what rubbed me wrong a little bit on repeated viewings with Deadpool. Mm-hmm. It was a little too, like...
Oh, I fucking hate Deadpool.
It was a little too, like, hey, this is a joke kind of a thing. I don't mind a little bit of that, but, like, that's one of the things, like, with Chris Pratt that I think, like,
when you're
he's a much better actor when they're kind of letting go a little bit on that. Personally,
I agree with that.
That's just...
If you're acting like you're being funny, the battle's lost.
Yeah.
Although it's not lost because both of those movies made millions of dollars.
Yeah. But on me, it's lost on me.
Lost on me too.
But yeah, that's a very good choice, and that's so funny because that was my number 8 choice, and I was thinking I would actually rank it a little bit higher, but ultimately there's other films that are worse than it that are on my list. But so so your number 9, Jurassic World, my number 8, Jurassic World. That means, Alan, do you have? I got nothing. He's got nothing. Not even one.
Nothing.
Yeah, have you seen Jurassic World? Do you want to chime in?
I don't even remember a scene from it.
Wow.
And I think that's what happens.
Yeah.
I love Jurassic Park. I don't remember a single fucking line from...
It's completely forgettable.
one.
And
Yeah.
And I remember recently after I saw it in theaters, and I remember getting so much flack for saying that I didn't like it from everyone else that I knew that had saw it. You hadn't seen it yet, but... And I thought, man, maybe I just was in a bad mood or something. And then we watched it together because I was like, okay, you watch this. Tell me I'm not wrong. And we watched it, and it was even worse the second time than I remembered. And I remember thinking, wow, people really are drinking the Kool-Aid here. This is like the Jim Jones movie of 2015 or whatever it came out.
It's appalling to me that people like... And take something like Life is Beautiful.
Yeah.
I personally didn't like it. I hated that movie.
Yeah.
But at least... I can, when I think about it, I could see why other people liked it or what they appreciated about it. I have no fucking idea with Jurassic World.
And I still have to, I'm still going to compare it to Jurassic Park 1 because you just have to, right? I
Well, you can't do that. That's what
I know,
everyone
right?
says.
That's what everyone will say. You can't do that. No way to be good. Well, I'm sorry. It has Jurassic in the title. It's a sequel. I'm going to compare it.
And
comparison.
Jeff Goldblum's coming back as Malcolm in Jurassic World.
Yeah,
too.
and the worst part is I'll probably end up seeing it, but that Colin Trevorrow is a fucking hack. And he's making the next Star Wars movie after this next one that's coming out. And I am really nervous about that. But...
The Phantom Menace 2. Jar Jar on Ice.
I remember seeing Jurassic Park in theaters at like Laurelhurst after I had just seen that because I think it was popular. So Laurelhurst decided they were going to play Jurassic Park in theaters, so I went to go see it. And I remember like literally comparing almost every scene in Jurassic Park is so great for some reason, whether it's just like the interaction of the actors or I think of that opening scene, a scene which I always forget is in the film until the opening starts. I'm like, oh, this part, I love it. The part where they're in the jungle and they have the raptors. You never see the raptors except like the eye or something, and it's like, shoot! That whole part is so great.
I love that scene.
Not even one scene in Jurassic World could come close to the greatness that is in that scene, or the 20-minute stretch starting from the water trickle or the little ripple leading up to when
The car, the
yeah,
T-Rex
all of that
chase.
when they're rappelling down the side of it and they're waiting for that car that's gonna fly down because the T-Rex keeps on hitting it. That's like I'm like nothing in Jurassic World came even a centimeter close to being that fun
Got
and cinematic.
No, nothing. It's just boring. None of the characters are interesting. Jurassic World 2, that'll change because they'll have Jeff Goldblum. Because he's... So what you want about him, some people don't like that character, but Jeff Goldblum is always interesting to watch, at least. You scientists were so preoccupied about whether they could do something that they never start to think about whether they should, you know? And
Oh, that was pretty good.
not bad, huh? But he's interesting, so he'll be the only good thing about Jurassic World 2, presumably. But for me, the movie was a fucking wash. Jurassic Park is the only good Jurassic movie.
Well,
World is the worst.
and I still enjoy Lost World, even though I don't think it's a very good movie. And I haven't seen Jurassic Park 3 in a long time, but all I remember is Tia Leone screaming nonstop, and it was kind of annoying. Number 7, another movie with Chris Pratt. And I'm really I don't hate Chris Pratt. I kind of like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, but this.
Actually, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you should, huh? Because you got number 8.
Okay, because you're number 8. Even though I called the last one, it happened to correspond with.
Go ahead. You're number 8. You're next.
And then we could match up again.
That's cool.
I feel like a dick now. All right, number 8.
The rules we set up were broken. No.
I have broken the covenant.
Number 8.
Number 8. Now, to be honest, this is one of the ones that I'm gonna pull an Alan Barrow on because I can't really remember that much about it. I just remember watching it and choking in revulsion. Date movie. Pretty much any movie with the word movie in it is like scary movie or disaster movie or epic movie. I chose date movie as my worst
I
choice.
don't know what that is. But...
Good.
It was like a string of like.
You don't remember the movies?
No, I saw scary. I saw. I think Scary Movie was actually pretty decent
That's
for what it was.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe the first one. I haven't seen it, but there was a string of. What it spawned was fucking awful. There's not just scary movies, but disaster movie, epic movie, more than I can think of.
Yeah.
This one was a date movie, and I remember just sitting there being revolted the entire time. And to be honest, maybe it's unfair I have this on my list because there's only one scene I remember. Do you guys remember the scene in Meet the Parents where he's over at is it the Fockers or what's the other family?
Well, it's the Fockers, I think.
The one with De Niro, the family
I
of
don't
the
remember
bride.
the family name, but.
But the bride's family, he's over there to meet for the first time. He's having a dinner, and he accidentally bumps the urn of ashes off of the fireplace mantle and breaks, and there's ashes everywhere.
Yeah.
And in this movie, basically the same thing happens, except when the urn breaks, it's a mummified corpse of their grandmother with a tongue sticking out. It's all shriveled up like a raisin and everything. And she's like, "Oh, my grandma's remains!" And the cat goes over, bites the grandma on the tongue, and starts pulling the tongue, not out of the mouth, but back and forth, like it. I remember putting my hand against my forehead.
Wait, that's on your worst films of all time? That sounds like Comedy Genius.
No, it wasn't. Maybe the way I'm describing it makes it sound.
That sounds hilarious.
It was not hilarious.
I've never
It's
seen
stupid.
Date Movie. I have seen Epic Movie. That was a pretty bad movie. I do remember that being. Somehow it doesn't make it on my list.
God damn.
But let me tell you, this is funny. It's a great segue to the next one on my list because it does have movie in the title. And you were saying how movies with the movie in the title are bad. Movie 43.
Oh, I never saw that. I saw one clip, one segment. It's movie 43 is. I hate to make this comparison, but in a way, it's not as good anywhere in the fucking same galaxy, but structurally, it's similar to Creepshow, where it's like a vignette of several shorts put together. It's an anthology film, and I've seen one of the.
I actually sat through the whole entire thing simply because I was very curious to see why the hell all these great actors.
Was it Kate Winslet in it?
Dude, like Kate Winslet, Chris Pratt, who else is in it? Dennis Quaid, Richard Gere. I feel like Julia Roberts is in one too. Like Anna Faris. Like there's some like pretty decent actors in this movie. And I remember like it was all set around Dennis Quaid was this character that was trying to pitch a movie. I think if I remember correctly, he took like some movie execs hostage and was like coming up with a movie idea to pitch them or something. Or I kind of forget, but it was Dennis Quaid. It was all the vignettes were framed around Dennis Quaid's ideas, and the only one I can remember off the top of my head was like the one with Chris Pratt and Anna Faris.
Where, I remember that.
Like
that's the only one that I saw.
Where like she wanted him to take a dump on her chest or something, and like he couldn't do it. Like he was like, "Oh, baby, I'll do it for you." And then like he like tried to do it, but he's like, "Oh, I don't want to do it." She's like, "No, do it. Poop on my chest." And he's like, "No, I can't." And then like the last part of the film is just like him just shitting. I think.
Oh no, I remember what happens.
What happened? Like,
one of the things I thought was the whole plot was fucking stupid, or how Ben described it, but it's even stupider than that. He's talking to his friends about it. He's like, "Ooh, she wants you to poop on her chest." It's like, yeah, I can't believe she wants me to shit on her chest. No, never say that. Never say shit. She wants you to poop on her chest. And then, like, later in the movie, like, she's talking to him, "Why won't you poop on my chest?" Like, "I don't want to shit on your chest." And she gets just, like, really upset, like, and she runs away.
Damn it. No, I think this was off my list. That's pretty genius shit.
And as she's running away, he's chasing her.
Yes.
And as he's chasing her, a car comes and hits him.
Yeah.
And he explodes and just nothing but shit.
Because he had, like, taken a whole bunch and he hadn't shit for days or something because he was trying to gear up for the fact that, like, he could just do it automatically. And, yeah, the car hits him and he just shits everywhere. And she's like, "Oh, babe." And they, like, fall in each other's arms and they're actually dating in real life, which is pretty funny. But yeah, movie 43. That's number 7 for me.
Wow, if I had seen the whole thing, that would have been on my list. I guarantee it. Yeah. But the ones where I've only seen clips, I decided consciously to leave off.
Yeah.
Got any ones, Alan?
How about Pompeii?
What was?
You ever see that?
Was
Yeah,
that
I've heard of
with
it.
Jon Snow?
I actually didn't know who was in it, but I know it was.
Was
a
it that
love
super
story.
CGI'd ones?
I can't even speak about it. I mean, but I remember that I was just amazed at how bad it was.
And I think, like, I feel like a movie done right about Pompeii would be actually pretty crazy and epic. But like,
I probably just tried to overdo it.
I remember like seeing a trailer for it.
Did they do like wasn't it the guy that made that Hercules movie? That made that?
Brett Ratner?
Was it Brett Ratner?
No, I don't think so. But Brett Ratner made the Hercules movie, I think.
Okay, it looks like something that he would have made.
I feel kind of bad saying it without being able to back it up, but I just remember that it was. I don't know.
You know, there's actually a Pompeii exhibit right now at OMSI.
Yeah.
And they actually used have
God.
casts made from the actual body casts from Pompeii. That's what I had heard. Obviously, they probably can't
I haven't been to
travel
Aussie in a
those.
while.
but
I would love to do
That sounds like an exhibit
too.
that would be pretty interesting, personally.
Yeah.
I'd go see that in a heartbeat if I had.
One of my favorite things to do with Pompeii or Pink Floyd live at Pompeii. It's a really good concert they do, and there's like
Born to death.
there's like no one there, and it's just them playing at Pompeii
Wow.
in like the mid '70s. And actually, recently, the guitarist for Pink Floyd did a concert where they let them go back there, and they boated a whole bunch of people to Pompeii and set up his live show, and he did a concert there in the actual like Coliseum of Pompeii,
Wow.
which is pretty amazing because I think it's like an island.
It's pretty crazy.
I'm pretty sure Pompeii's on an island, but
I know it was like there was the actual modern city was built over it, and they have to access it through tunnels, I think, to get
yeah, I'm not exactly sure.
to the ancient site. So that was your number 7, or that was
Movie 43 was my number 7.
all right.
Yeah,
That was just,
we're gonna
uh,
call- we're gonna-
Oh, that was Alan's. That was Alan. Ah, God, I'm losing track. So that was one of Alan's. Shit. My number 7.
Mm-hmm.
Deuce Bigelow, European Gigolo. There is a woman
I know exactly what he's
in the movie who has a penis for a nose that she hides with this like I Dream of Jeannie shroud. This like,
She's from Chernobyl.
and every time she sneezes, she ejaculates in Rob Schneider's face. Need I say more? Do I have to further
I
explain
don't know.
why
That kind
that's
of
on my
sounds.
list?
That kind of sounds like what Adam Sandler does.
Do I have to further explain that? Like,
No.
do I really?
No, I think that's good enough. That's funny because Deuce Bigelow, the first one, is probably one of my favorite comedies of all time, and I will defend that to the death. That is like that movie is like a warm blanket movie to me. I will put on the original Deuce
Interesting.
Bigelow. I get a kick out of that.
Sequel. What do you think of the sequel?
Horrible. Sequel is one of the worst things I've ever seen. For original has one of my favorite quotes of all time. One time, I dropped a cigar ash on Anton's rug. He made me pick it up with my anus. Although my delivery is not as good as Eddie Griffin's, but
I heard Eddie Griffin was nominated for an Oscar.
This is Heavy, Set, Go.